What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Bones the Goat, aka Corey Sturkey, back here again with another episode of Conversations That Cure with the team.
I'm Michael Ryder, aka Ryder Grooms.
Gregory Sturkey, Pops.
So, this is my first one back in a couple episodes.
Welcome back.
I missed a couple episodes just to with the travel, with level 3 and stuff like that. Been moving around, so thank you to the team, everybody that y'all don't see behind, and my father and my brother for holding things down while I was gone. But today we're going to talk about something, I guess, a little bit more personal. Talk about relationships. And there's different aspects of relationships with your friend, relationships that you build for business, and then obviously, relationships where you have a companion. And I guess, like, from my point of view, or my angle, we'll talk about is just relationships. And I think for years, I could honestly say that just sitting back now where I'm at in life and reflecting on just my previous relationships, I can definitely see where I have to take accountability for a lot of things. More so me getting into a relationship initially because we didn't have such a big family. I didn't have a lot of that. Whenever I would get in a relationship or I would like somebody, my initial thing is I'm going 100%. It takes a lot to get me there, but when you get me there, I'm all in. And what I had to learn and what I just realized is, like, for me personally, that's the worst thing that I could have done. But I didn't see that in the time being, because at first, like, you meet this new person, you like them, you want to court them, you know what I'm saying? You want to show your potential, you want to show your qualities. But then the thing that a lot of people, and me specifically, that I had to learn was that, for one, like, just because I like you, just because you're attractive, just because the initial engagement or vibe may be enticing, it doesn't mean that we're necessarily compatible. And I didn't understand how to differentiate the two, where I could meet somebody that really should just be a friend, but then because of my want for love, my want for companionship, my want for a partner, I would overlook certain things, or I would rush certain things to get it to a point to where it was like, this is what I want. And just recently, I had a situation where, dating this young lady, great person, good individual, but there were just things about us that I just didn't see, like, it working in that manner. And it was really hard for me to kind of have that conversation and explain, like, hey, like, I think we're better as being friends, because I see we have these qualities, but the qualities that I see that we are showing each other is not giving me that feeling of a relationship. Now, in the past, had I met this person a few years ago, a couple months in, we probably would have been dating. Whole full-on relationship. So now what I'm learning how to do is, like, just take my time, and not rush. Like, I literally find myself wanting to text a message and I'll delete it because I can see that it's overly progressive and building that relationship instead of letting things come over time, being able to sit back and view how a certain person handles certain situations, or where do we compromise, or what things am I willing to compromise. These weren't things or conscious questions that I would ask myself in the past. I would just jump into it and be like, I like her, she likes me, let's figure it out. And it causes a lot of confusion, and it puts an unfair expectation on that person to feel like they need to be as engaged in this relationship as I am.
So what brought you to that place to where you was able to stop and get to where you can sit and realize that you was moving too quick? What brought you there? How did you get there?
To be truthful, I started to sit back and look at the patterns in my relationships. And it's different women that, for the most part, they don't know each other at all, but there was a common problem amongst all of them. And for a long time, my ego wasn't allowing me to see that it was me, that I was the one that moved these relationships at a pace where it should have been slower, and gave each one of us enough time to learn each other, learn how we are in a relationship, and learn how we are in a relationship together, how we are around each other. You know, like, it's cool when you first meet somebody, but how are you when that honeymoon stage dies out? So for me, I had to sit back and really just take accountability on my lack of emotional intelligence and my lack of patience, because I wanted something so bad that I'm not allowing this thing to grow. It's like planting a seed and being upset that it's not grown in a week's time. You know, like, you have to water it and you have to allow this thing to flourish and manifest into something bigger, but I wasn't allowing it to do. I was looking for like a microwave love. You know what I'm saying? I want to put this thing in a microwave for 30 seconds, and when you come out, I have a wife and a life partner.
Yeah,
You know, but it didn't work like that, and I had to really take accountability on that with myself, you know, and say to myself, like, Corey, like, you gotta move. You have to move smarter. Don't move so emotional in things. You know, just because people say the right things or their actions in certain scenarios may show you qualities, time reveals all things. It reveals all things. So I got to that point now where it's like, and then I have you and Ryder. Like, I reach out to y'all, and when I was going through that whole situation, I was talking to you the entire time.
Yes.
You know, and my mindset was like, I just need to. I know that I don't want to rush things, and I had my non-negotiable, and I stood by it. You know, I didn't let the infatuation of the moment or the person cause me to veer off from what my intentions were initially from the beginning of of me meeting these people.
Yeah.
So-
I can imagine when you said you had to deal with your ego, because as men, we at times struggle dealing with the ego, and we get in denial, like 1, 2, 3, and
Yeah.
we won't accept that. So
I seen like this video where this dude was talking about it. He was like, I've had a problem, the same problem. How do you have the same problem in multiple relationships with different people and not take a second to acknowledge and hold yourself accountable and to certain extents? And when I was able to kind of sit back and have those uncomfortable conversations with myself, I was able to realize, like, nah, like, that was your fault.
how did you process those, you know, those thoughts, those conversations with yourself? How did you work through that?
Journaling, for one, helped a lot, because it gave me an outlet to kind of speak freely to myself and to be honest and vulnerable with myself first. So once I was able to see the areas where I was lacking from just like going back and reading some of my old journals, it kind of was like a aha moment, like, damn, like, this whole time I'm sitting here thinking that this person wasn't really ready, when it was really that I didn't give them the opportunity to grow into that. I didn't give the relationship the time that it needed to develop and produce what I potentially wanted in the future. So that was how I was able to kind of work through it. And then, you know, obviously communicating with the people that's my circle and leaning on them, and then being in a position to where I'm gonna ask you your perspective on this thing, and no matter what your response is, I can't take it personal.
Yeah,
You know?
just have to take the criticism
You have
with
to take
it.
the criticism and see, like, hey, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, you know, you should try X, Y, Z. I didn't try to handle the whole entire load by myself. You know, I delegated it through my relationships with the people that's in my life. I leaned on them for it. So relationships help me deal with relationships.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So that definitely it definitely helped a lot. So now my mindset is like, just one day at a time. Just one day at a time. Like, if it's gonna be, then it's gonna be. But the rushing aspect of wanting to be something so quick, it really stemmed from my inability to be alone, to be comfortable by myself. So because it was hard for me to be by myself, I felt like I had to rush certain relationships to make me feel comfortable in my insecurities with myself for being alone. So when I would see somebody that had potential, I would jump on it quick and try to push the relationship further or at a faster pace, to really just selfishly feed my needs on certain things that I should have been dealing with on my own. You know, certain things I should have been handling with myself and not putting that level of expectation or pressure on that person to kind of catch up to me because I'm running full speed. But I'm really running full speed because I'm afraid to sit still and deal with myself.
You know, I don't think that, you know, it was selfishness, because I know, you know, when we're confronted with, like, for a man to have to deal with his ego, that's not easy.
Yeah.
Because you gotta, when you're dealing with your ego, you gotta actually sit down and take a look at your life and realize, okay, I could have done better here, I could have done better there, I could have done better there. And some of the things that you may have done may have shifted relationships, lost opportunities. So to be able to sit down and really deal with that, you know, I don't think it was I think it may have been a little intimidating and hard, but when you were able to sit down and finally deal with that, what do you do now when you realize you have to spend more time with yourself? How do you deal with that rushness that comes over your body? How do you deal with that now? What do you do now that has simmered you down?
I prioritized spending time with myself because I understood that if I can be happy with Corey anywhere in the world at any time of the day,
You'll be all right.
I'll be all right. So adding it's like, I use this analogy all the time. I was looking, I should just took my time. I just needed to take my time. And I use this analogy as like, I'm the salad. When I have a relationship with somebody, I need them to be the crouton. I don't need you to be everything, because me alone, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm coming into your life, the table's already set, because I'm good. I just need you to add a little bit of Parmesan and some croutons to the top of this salad so that we can make this thing complete. But before, I was the crouton, but I was looking for the woman to be my entire salad. So because I wasn't getting that or getting it fast enough, it made me insecure. It messed me up.
I think that's one of my biggest problems when it comes to relationships. It's like, if you're not adding anything, or if I don't feel like I'm getting stimulated enough to where like you're adding to my life, right? Because it's just like you said, like everything's complete. I got it all. I got a career. I have all the externals and everything within myself that make me okay. So if you can't add to that, and if you take away from that, now it's an issue. And I'm easy to go ahead and point out those issues that might happen through these relationships, right? But a lot of the times, it's like I'm pointing out these things, but then it's like, yo, what is wrong with you that I might not be adding to the relationship or giving to that person on that type of partnership to help and grow that relationship? If that makes sense, right?
Yeah. I mean, because when you said you used a salad, there's many things in salad. You got the lettuce, you got spinach, you can throw olives, you can throw tomatoes, you can throw onions, and you're saying that you're all of that. How did you get in touch with all of that and realize that you're all of that? What, because you're saying, like, I'm complete, I just need the season, pretty much. I need a person that's gonna come in and see my potential and that can boost me a little bit. But I'm not depending on you. Yeah. But if I have a partner, how did you mature that area? What practices that you may have done to really identify?
For one, showing gratitude, but gratitude to God for one, and then to myself. Like, I had to have a lot of conversations where I had to pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
And remind myself of how far I've come, the type of father that I am, the type of friend that I am, the type of human being that I am. And then once I was able to kind of realize and sit back and have those moments and see my areas of value, it made it a lot easier to be like, you know what, I am okay being by myself. I started going out to happy hour by myself to eat, get oysters alone. I started going out to dinner by myself. I started going to the movies by myself. I took trips by myself. I had to do these things. These things are all extremely uncomfortable, but I had to do those so that way when somebody else is implanted into my life, I've already got my systems down. I know how to make Corey feel good. I know the things that make me feel fulfilled. I know the things that bring me peace and what brings me happiness. So once I focused on the things that make me feel fulfilled as a human being, it was easy for me to realize where my areas of value are, and it changed the perspective of how I view myself.
That's good.
So once I was able to kind of do that, it made speaking to people a lot better, because now if I see something in a relationship, or I see something when I'm getting to know a person that I know is a non-negotiable for me and I don't like it, I don't have a problem detaching myself. You know, in the past, I would try to stay because, I could help them, they could change, or I could fix them, and if I help them with this and speak to them, and I'll get them to this point, and then maybe this person will be who I want them, who I know they can be. Like, I was putting expectations on people, for one, I was wrong. But then now it's like, if I see that I don't fit here, I don't force it anymore, because I'm not afraid to be by myself.
Yeah.
Like those things don't scare me no more.
Yeah.
You know what
Because
I'm
I know there was a time where I felt like I can relate to how you feel, because I would meet somebody and they would fill a slot I thought I needed. And then in my head, I was like, I can't lose them, because ain't nobody gonna do it like this. I ain't gonna be able to get better, until I was able to get to a point to where I would say to myself, I got choices. I want to create options in my life. So when I was able to do that, I was able to let go of that fear, thinking that, that's the one. There's no one better than this one right here. But spending that time and realizing that there was much more to yourselves, you know what I'm saying, to me, to you, to where you create the options for you, for yourself. And I'm just saying, relating to that, I can definitely see how, you got to that place.
Yeah, and just accountability, man, really was the biggest thing, and just addressing Corey. I think one of the biggest things that I've just been trying to do these last few years is just like separating the emotions from everything, and then just really just dealing with why this situation, separating emotions from the person, from the scenario, and just understanding why does this make me feel this type of way.
It does.
Those are hard questions. Those are hard questions, because like you said, that's accountability. And we're so quick. I was sharing with my fiance, I was sharing with Lisa, we always talk about when a person say to you, you made me feel, you did this and it made me feel this way.
It's never true.
We don't have the power to make nobody feel no way. We feel a certain way because we choose to feel that way. Yeah. And the question is,
why?
You go back into yourself and lean into that and ask yourself, why am I feeling like this?
There's two things in this world that you can control: your actions and your reactions.
That's it.
Your reactions are your feeling.
That's right.
That you feel from this, right? So it's your perspective on what you're feeling in that said scenario, right? If I did X, Y, and Z, and you feel this way, that's your perspective on how you're reacting to whatever it is I might be doing or might not be doing.
Yes.
So I can never control your feelings or be the boss of what you're feeling, because that's your choice.
Yeah.
And also, like, to bring it in and wrap it up, like, that's unfair. You know what I'm saying? To even put like that type of that type of pressure on somebody else to say like, you made me feel like this. Like, I had situations where I had to separate the emotions from it, because if it didn't, it would drive me crazy. It just bothered me that I thought at that time that this person had that much power to say or do certain things that would completely dictate how the rest of my day or my week would go.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It drove me crazy. But sitting back, having those conversations with myself, showing gratitude to God, understanding what my value was as a person, leaning on my relationships to people I have in my life, holding myself accountable with my journal. These are all the different things and different tools that I had to utilize in order for me to see that, no, these women weren't the ones that was wrong in the situation. It was you. And I feel like once you get to a point where you can take accountability for things, even when it's uncomfortable, even if you feel this person did you wrong, what could I have done better? And once I started asking myself those questions, I was able to detach away from me not liking this person personally. Because the person who you're dealing with, it doesn't matter. It could be Mary Jane. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. That person is completely irrelevant. Mm-hmm. It's just a scenario and the lesson that you're supposed to learn from this scenario.
Yes.
So those are all the tools that I used when it came to me trying to readjust myself and my mindset around how I approach relationships and how I approach trying to find like my person, you know, and I'm grateful that I was able to get to this point, because now I have that peace where I could sit in my room in silence and be cool. I go eat by myself and be cool. You know what I'm saying? I spend time, like I fill that time in with my kids. You know what I'm saying? I focus on the things that make me feel fulfilled. And once I was able to do that, I wasn't looking for like my fulfillment in a relationship from a woman.
Yeah.
My fulfillment came from my relationship with God, my relationship with myself, and my relationship with my friends and my family.
Yeah.
Particularly in like with my kids. So that's my perspective on that aspect of a relationship. We ending it with that right there. Please, 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 if you're following us, like, comment, subscribe, put those post notifications on. We'll be coming back with bangers consistently with you guys, man. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Conversation That Cure. I'm Bones the GOAT.
I'm Michael Ryder.
Gregory Sturkey Pops.
Talk to y'all later. Peace.